Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with David LaFrance with the American Waterworks Association. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Next, Kyle Bauer and Janelle Dobbins discuss the From the Land of Kansas program. Then it's this week's Angus Report, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer visits with David LaFrance with the American Waterworks Association.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with David LaFrance with American Waterworks Association. He's the CEO. David, explain to me who the American Waterworks Association is.
So the American Waterworks Association is the oldest and largest water association in the world. Our members tend to be water utilities, the people who serve you drinking water every single day, along with the consultants and the manufacturers who help support those water utilities.
As a person from agriculture, I think most people in agriculture understand that agriculture is a huge user of water across the entire nation, and certainly out here on the plains we are by far the largest. I assume there's times then agriculture comes at water from a competitive standpoint to utilities.
Well, agriculture, power, and municipal uses are the three largest uses of water. So there's always the sharing of water that's necessary and finding ways to manage all the purposes of water amongst all the competing demands for water.
Most everywhere in the world, and certainly we see it more every day, water is a limited resource. But out here we have first in time, first in right as far as it determines who gets the water. And sometimes that can be a situation that has to be managed by a public water source.
So water is a fixed, finite resource. We're not making any more of it. The prior appropriations doctrine, which allows for water to be treated like a property right and be sold, does help facilitate getting water to those who need it the most because they're willing to pay for it the most. It also protects those who have the right to use the water for their beneficial purposes.
But certainly for agriculture then, being a property right, it is actually a valuable resource.
It is a valuable resource both in both directions. It could be a sold asset, or it could be an asset that is helps protect other assets that a farmer or a rancher may have.
And let's face it, in most points, a municipality can recoup the cost of a finite resource more than agriculture can most of the time. Let's talk about how many people your members serve.
So the American Waterworks Association serves about 50,000 members. Interestingly, there's about 52,000 water utilities, public community water systems in the U.S. Serving the greater population. The interesting statistic about that is that about 8% of the water utilities out there are large water utilities serving about 80% of the population, whereas about 80% of the water utilities are serving smaller populations, serving approximately 8% of the U.S. population.
And when you get down to that 8%, I mean, that talks about rural for the most part.
Yeah, that would be more of our rural communities in the U.S.
And so really, 80% of your members come from rural areas where we're talking about agriculture using a large amount of the water, and so we're really talking about serving the areas close to their own communities.
Yeah, those would be the rural communities, the municipal water systems in those rural communities serving the agricultural farmers and ranchers.
We're talking with David LaFrance. He is the CEO of the American Waterworks Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Dr. Richard Hahn, Animal Utilization Technical Director with the U.S. Soybean Export Council in China, joins us. Dr. Hahn, we recently visited the CP Layer Hen facility just outside of Beijing. Can you tell us more about the plant?
It's quite a modern facility. And CP, I know on this side, there are 3 million layer hens on site, just one side. So highly automated, and they paid greater attention to food security and egg quality. And as you saw, the only feed ingredients they use soybean meal and the corn. So food safety and quality is a priority for this site.
Do you feel the customers like U.S. soybeans and soybean meal more than others?
General market, and from my experience with the customers, yes, U.S. soybeans more consistent in quality, and also with our promotion, and most people are aware of the better nutritional quality, such as amino acid profile and the digestibility.
With the facility we saw with all the robotics and automation involved in the plan, are there more like this or just a few?
Probably one of the few, but it's more egg layer companies planning more modernize the facilities and expanding the size. And this one's highly automated, as you can see that it's checking birds by robots. And this is to reduce the human contact with the birds, and also reduce the disturbance of human enter the facility.
And for the eggs that are produced at that facility, where do they go from there?
Their eggs, you can see that the packaging, and with some like enriched eggs, those are more high-end for, they can go to the supermarket, and also the liquid eggs go to the restaurants. And also like a boiled eggs can go to some restaurants. And so their price, I think, have more premium. And even at some difficult market times, what I heard, they're still making money. So that's because of the supply, like a supply to the fast food chains, McDonald's, KFC's, some others.
That was the comments of Dr. Richard Hahn, Animal Utilization Technical Director with the U.S. Soybean Export Council in China, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Kyle Bauer and Janelle Dobbins.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we learn more about the From the Land of Kansas program from Kyle Bauer and Janelle Dobbins.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Janelle Dobbins. She's with From the Land of Kansas. She's the marketing manager. Janelle, From the Land of Kansas has been around for a while and appears to be stronger than ever.
Yes, our program's been around for 20 plus years. We were in the Kansas Department of Agriculture, then we moved to the Kansas Department of Commerce, and 3 years ago we moved it back to the Kansas Department of Agriculture and are really working on growing our members and making it a really strong program.
So if I were to be involved with your program, my involvement is called a member. How many members do you have?
Right now, we currently have 350 members, and we have 5 levels of membership, so you can be as involved as you want to be. Our base level just kind of gets you into the program, and then members who are up at the 5 level could be working with Chef Allie and being featured on different segments that are on TV, being on our website, going to fancy food shows, whatever involvement they would like.
And I assume then that higher level of involvement would be a higher cost of membership?
Correct.
So as a member then, what can I expect from your department or your personnel?
So as a member, depending on your level of membership, you're definitely using our logo. And as consumers learn more about our From the Land of Kansas logo, they're looking for that when they're shopping. Also, as a member, you're getting to meet other members, talk to them about what's worked for them, what hasn't. We do an annual conference where we bring speakers in. And if you have questions about food safety licensing, if you want to get nutritional, we're kind of that conduit, and we can hook you up with anyone and help you get those questions answered to make sure you're being able to keep your business successful.
So what kinds of people that might be considering it wouldn't fit?
If you do business to business, that is not really kind of what we work on. We really work with selling to that end consumer.
And if I wanted to buy Land of Kansas products, how might I do that?
So you can go to our website, fromthelandofkansas.com, and then in the upper right-hand corner, there's a Shop the Marketplace button. So click on that, and you can go in, and there's everything from cheese curds to apple slices to chocolates to toffees, and you can order all of those items and have them shipped anywhere in the United States.
So I can, if you will, pick a product from company A, B, G, and L, and all have those shipped to one location.
Yes, they will all actually fulfill them at the individual businesses, but they will all be shipped to your final location. So your cousin who lives in Florida now but loves Kansas, this would be a great birthday gift. Send them a bunch of Kansas products.
And I suspect once that cousin gets that, he might be likely to order for other people in the future as well.
That is definitely our hope. As we know from our From the Land of Kansas members, they do have great quality products. And so when people taste them, use them, they really love them, and they usually keep using them and also buy them for others or suggest others to buy them.
We're visiting with Janelle Dobbins. She is with From the Land of Kansas, marketing manager. It's Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Angus Report.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses and rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously. So I'm tickled to death with the results, and I'd recommend this process to anyone.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source, together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Angus Report.
Behind the gold standard of beef is a team that protects it. More than 5,000 restaurant audits each month ensure only certified Angus beef brand products sells as such.
Audits take place in a lot of forms. From the retail perspective, we will look at their total purchases. We'll look at the percent of their middle meats they're selling versus the end meats that they're selling, and ensure that they have a good mix of product, because we need to sell that whole carcass, not just the middle meat items. But an audit in general can be anything from walking into a restaurant or a retail store and looking at the case display and making sure the marks are used correctly, making sure they have enough product in the case, and that they're actually then looking at their purchase information to ensure that they actually bought enough product to fill that entire case.
As domestic and international markets grow, brand assurance efforts grow with it.
Probably as we continue to establish ourselves as a brand, especially domestically here in the United States, that compliance, that auditing, and that understanding among especially the trade, but then also down to the restaurant level, is becoming easier. The challenges are really in our international markets and globally, where the associations or the producers in those markets of Angus cattle are wanting to create a brand similar to certified Angus beef. And it's educating them and helping them to understand that we would support their efforts to grow the Angus breed in their markets, but they can't do that by having another certified Angus beef program.
Known by some as the beef police, Barstow says the division tries to not only enforce but also educate about the brand's difference.
Certified Angus beef has a lot of imitators, and so we have a lot of programs trying to compete with us or trying to be like us to earn that market share that we have. And of course, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but at the same time, it creates a lot of work for us to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the competition. And the way that it's a benefit to the consumers as well as the farmers and ranchers is that we are monitoring every pound of product as it moves through the entire distribution system. So consumers have the trust in the brand, and that creates a pull-through demand through the rest of the industry for then the cattle ranchers and farmers to enjoy the benefits of a demand for their product, for that high-quality product.
I'm Clint Mefford.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches, me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry. So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in southeast Kansas, while also starting our family. Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Allen Taves.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. It's finally been determined. From the Bible, Genesis 1:20-22, the chicken came before the egg. Fact or fiction?
Well, number one, anybody that thinks I'm a Bible scholar needs to get their life straightened out, because I am not. Genesis, I could see at least could be the right book. Chicken comes before the egg. I think I would have heard that before. If that were true, I'm going to go with fiction.
It says it's true.
It says so in Genesis, huh?
Not that I've looked it up myself. I'll leave that to all of you.
Well, somebody must have. You'd have thought somebody would have brought that up long ago.
That's a pretty good argument if it's there.
Exactly. If it's in the Bible, at least you could say, hey, it's in the Bible.
Been around a while.
Exactly.
It's not like some Johnny-come-lately fact.
Johnny-come-lately. The Bible's not exactly Johnny-come-lately, especially the Old Testament.
Yeah.
New Testament's relatively
new.
Johnny-come-lately, especially John. 1 John.
Yeah.
Johnny-come-lately. There you go.
So
Colorado and Nebraska do not tax food.
Correct.
And we do.
Yes.
Is that right or wrong? Should we be taxing food or not?
It's all a part of what your state believes is an appropriate means
what
to collect
do you believe,
dollars.
Though, Duane Taves?
Well,
what do
I
you
was,
think?
At one point in time, lived closer to the Nebraska border than I do now.
Yeah.
In a town, and it was not uncommon for folks to drive across the border to a town to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, you buy $100 worth of groceries, that's $6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, I think a
most
lot
of the
people
folks that went, though, they didn't spend $100. They spent $300.
Well, there you go. That's $18. Now you'd almost pay for your
Yes.
and your mileage,
Yeah.
and your time.
I don't know. Folks just felt better about it because they weren't paying any tax.
That's what I see most of the time when people shop out of town. It's an event. It's not about saving money. It's going and doing something because, I mean, you would have to shop hard. If you bought $150 worth of groceries, you'd have to shop hard out of town to save $15.
Yeah.
Okay?
And if you leveled as much energy into paying attention to the weekly shopper sale guide that your local grocery store had, and purchased things when they were on sale, and you put as much energy into it, I'm relatively confident you probably could save more money than what you are going across the border.
Okay, and this is not a paid ad for Shop at Home, but it just drives me crazy when people, and then also when they're out buying groceries, what do they normally do?
Well, they go out and eat.
Exactly. Go to a movie. It's like, so all of a sudden that $18 turned into a $80 cost.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I am fine with that. If you want to spend your money away, that's great. But the point is don't throw it up in the local retailer's face of saying that you're going shopping somewhere else because it's cheaper.
And let's remind folks that it's not the local retailer's choice on what the taxes are. They only are the collection mechanism.
And you know how much they get paid to collect them?
Not
a single penny for collecting that tax that the legislature puts in.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.